G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I've got another little... G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel Bonsai Works. I have another little black pine here that belongs to a customer that I need to sort out. This one's a root over a rock, so it's quite interesting. Now having a quick look at this tree, the most important thing is where the front is on this tree. Now I'll show you where this is one possible front. I think this is the front. So you see most of the roots there. Now if I switch over to this side, there's hardly any roots there, but the tree actually looks pretty good from this side. So I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, which one the customer has originally picked as the front, but that's not interesting at all. The rock, I don't know, this side has more roots, much more interest. I like the dynamic nature of the rock and the roots on this one. Definitely has to change the position on the pot. I don't believe this is the final pot he wants to put it in, but that's a much more interesting root spread. I wouldn't pick this at all, but I just noticed the tree looks the best from this angle. So easy to fix in terms of we just make the tree look better from the other angle. So this has got a lot of branching and so on. I'd like to make this pretty much a really compact tree. I want movement going in this direction away from the rock. Have shorter branches on this side, longer branches on this side. That's the intention. So we're going to get stuck into this tree. What do I do first? Well, I wire the tree. So I'm always going to wire trees, right? So that's the number one priority. At first though, I will just probably do a clean out of the tree, clean out any dead needles. I don't like bar three in one spot, three branches come out of one spot. I want back to two, so make sure the tree's got all that going for it, clean out all the dead needles as I mentioned, and then get working on it. But pretty much wiring again. Yeah, pretty much wiring. I don't think I'm going to remove any of the main branches. There's lots of good branching. So I want the tree to move more in this direction, away from that. Maybe even drop some of these a bit further down, so create a bit more interest down this side of the tree. Have the apex more this way rather than back there. So things like that, just to make the tree look more dynamic with that rock. Because I want to see this point. I want to see this point of the rock. I'd like to get that exposed, and then the trees this way. So I'm going to go away and clean this up and get started on wiring. Alright everyone, so I didn't really do much of a video during the making of this tree. However, it's been so windy I couldn't do much footage anyway. But here is where it ended up. It's got a kind of a new front. It's about here. It's a little bit skewed. The pot is a little bit off center. That's center, but now it's about there. All fully wide. Now you can see what I was talking about, the rock. Now you can actually see it, and it makes a really nice, gives the tree nice movement in this direction, with the rock being over that side and the tree going this way. So that's how windy it is. My camera almost got knocked off by the background, so it's been absolutely crazy with the wind. I will keep trying to film some more trees that I'm working on, but this one's come up really nice. Really happy with this result. Probably a little bit more work in terms of, there's a bit of work here in this apex area. I don't like this, but if I took it all out, there'd be nothing left for depth, so I had to keep it. And coming back to the center, now you can see the beautiful root spread. There you can see it's a full root spread there. You can see the rock jutting out a bit and the tree in this direction. It's a lovely kind of all balanced tree. Really, really nice. Really come up really well. I'm pretty happy with it. What else can I say? I think that's pretty much it. Pretty straightforward. Obviously, I would like to change the planting position of this tree eventually. A nice round or drum or olive or oval will look really good too. But anyway, I have to go quickly because this wind is getting out of control. Alright, I hope you guys like this one, but I'll do another black pines after this. Alright everyone, so here's the next pine I am going to work on. A little bit different, a little bit bigger. You can see the size difference. Hoping this wind holds out so I can do this quick before. Interesting, doesn't have much branching. You can see all these are ginned off. I think this was the original front of the owner. Now I'm going to go do a big clean out of this because the needles and buds haven't been selected and needle plucked, so I really need to give it a good pluck and bud select all those out off. I have a quick look. I'm thinking I might change the front to somewhere in around here. but I'm going to play with that idea. Pretty good. Oh, see, almost went. I think it's a better tree from this angle. There's actually nice movement. There's a bit of a hollow here as well. Looks really interesting. So I'm going to play around with that, but I'm going to needle plug bud select first, clean the tree up, and then start to have a look again at the possible change of front. I just think this side is a bit, I could do it, but it's a bit boring, uninteresting. I think the best front is somewhere where this hollow is. I'll have to aim it right and then work on getting the branches down and bringing the top down as well, so it makes a shorter tree. But we'll have a look at once I needle pluck it and bud select. Okay, I'll avoid this wind now. Okay, thanks guys. Alright everyone, so I ended up going with that new front I was talking about with a nice little hollow in there. I positioned this little stick about where I want it to be. I've pretty much wired the whole tree. I've wired all this all down. Now I'm up to this bit. Now I've wired the branch. You can see there's a bit of a gap. See how there's a gap there? There's quite a bit of a gap from the rest of the tree. This is actually a really nice branch here. Now, another reason why I chose this front is not only that nice little base in here, looks interesting. That gin looks really nice there. This branch is probably the best branch on the tree, and it's now a feature of the tree rather than being hidden. If I chose the other side, that would be at the back, you never see it, and you got horrible branches on that side as well. So another reason why this side is the better side. It's got nice subtle movement, nice twisted around movement. Like you can see, it's not, see the different twists in it if I do it side to side, but now you can see the definite gap there, right? So what I want to tell you guys, or teach you guys if you don't know, you can see now I've got a little guy wire that I'm going to guy wire pull this down, because I'm not going to be able to bend that easily with wire, just bend it with wire. So I'm going to use a guy wire. But what I want to make, the important lesson here is I've fully wired the tree. So I don't have to actually go back and wire in between the guy wire. That's the hardest bit. The hardest bit is, imagine trying to, you put the guy wire on first and then trying to wire around and in between it and everything. So guy wire goes on last, okay, but you've got to have in your head what you're going to guy wire, which branch, etc. that you're going to pull down. But that's it. So that's the main lesson. Now I'm just going to do it, pull it down to where I need it to be. Make sure you have the tree looking at you in the front, and then it's a pull and twist. I haven't filmed much because the wind's been so bad the last few days, and I can't really do much filming. Now this, you can see this now how much down already. Remember it was up here before, now it's down into here. So now I'll go through and reposition all those wires all those branches that I wired. So you just go through it now. Now that branch is in the spot where you want it to be, you got to actually readjust all the branches. So I'll come back and show you what it looks like once I've done. So this is all I keep doing, plucking out to pluck some of the low needles, hanging needles. And I'll be back to finish it off and show you. The tricky part then is to deal with this apex, and we'll have a look at that, okay? Alright, so the guy wiring worked really well to wire this branch in here all the way around, much lower. There's no real gap now. It's looking good. The only issue now I've got is that top of the apex. I'm going to figure out what I need to do there. I've got some heavy gauge wire on there. So what I was trying to do is twist it back around somehow. I've wired the trunk this way because I was going to twist it this way. So that's a very important thing to know. Very tricky. I might need a guy wire to hold in place once I'm done. Now it's just, I think it's pretty good actually. It went around pretty well. But now I've got to position all these branches that I've just wired. So my issue is just this top bit. I have to figure out what I'm going to do with that. But other than that, it's just now a matter of placing all these branches, getting them in the right spot, and being happy with it. So this one I'm just going to play around with where I can put it. I know, for example, this branch here can go into the back, more towards the back, because we haven't got anything in there. So I can move him in there. Got this guy here, lies a bit long. You can go into here. Okay, so I'm slowly creating an apex. What happens is you try and find the spaces and fill it with a branch. Okay, that's how I figure it out. Probably the easiest way to do it. Sometimes it's too much growth. So thin out. Yeah. Just going to figure out what I'm going to do with this bit, and we'll come back and have a look. Alright everyone, so that's the next pine finished. Big change, I guess. This one totally new front, much more interesting. It's got this nice twisted look up the trunk. Looks quite nice. I like the gin on that side, filling in this space over there, having the more important branch on this side, bringing the apex right down. I ended up actually taking the top right out of that one. It just wouldn't work any way I did it, which is very rare for me to take out a branch, but I took out that top and needed to go. Lots of multiple little buds everywhere up here, so that shouldn't be a problem. All in all, nice little pine. Yeah, but look for different angles, very important. So see how we go. All right, I've got one more pine to do for this customer, and I'll do that one as part of this video set. All right, we'll be back soon to have a look at that one. All right, everyone. So this is the third pine in this video set. It's probably the biggest one of the three, of course. This is the biggest one of the three. This is more of a, looks like a standard, black pine, wide in the certain shapes, in the specific shape. Just needs to clean up, tidy up, etc. That's what you think first. And then I have a look inside, and it is very interesting in terms of how the branches are very, very twisted and contorted and convoluted. It's really interesting. To really compact the tree, they've done a lot of twists inside and to try and really compress the tree, which is really interesting and really funky. I like it, but let's work on it. I think I need to expose maybe that interest on this tree and make it look a bit special. Yeah, this is the only front I can choose. The back of the tree is pretty damaged. It's got a lot of old cuts where the branches were in here, and I really can't choose that. It's really ugly here. The whole tree bends this way, away from the viewer. So I really have only this choice to make. I've only got this position to make. One thing is there's this really heavy branch down here. You can just see how you can see that protruding. There isn't actually much foliage on this branch, but it's the lowest branch. I hate to say this, but I think I might have to get rid of it and use this branch to much healthier, much fuller, to really create that first very big branch on this side of the tree. That side of the tree's got very healthy, no problem. Just this side needs this branch to really fill it. I was thinking about moving him to the back. There's not much point because I've got this really good back branch here that I can just extend out and do a much better job of filling in the gap at the back. It's got enough back branches up further as well. Up here we can wire some sidelines, no problem. So I think this might have to go. And you know how much I hate cutting branches off, so I'm going to leave it for now. But I'm going to go through this. This tree doesn't look too bad in terms of needles and buds. It looks pretty well maintained. A little bit overgrown in certain areas, but we'll do a clean up and then start working on the tree. And as I always tell you, first thing I do is, obviously after needle plucking and bud selecting, cleaning up a bit, you just start wiring. So just start with the main, the bottom branches and work your way up the tree. Very straightforward. This tree I don't have to think about I guess with this tree I don't have to think about repositioning, changing angles, etc. It's pretty set. I'm not going to make any changes there, so I will just get straight into it. Okay, well, I'll get started working and we'll see what it looks like in a while. Alright everyone, so I've actually went ahead and wired the whole tree and filled it out and wired and put everything in position, and this is where it's come up to. Now the only thing I haven't done is removed this branch, and I've left it. Now here it is, and if you move it around there's really no impact of having it anywhere, so that's why I left it, so to see if there's actually any reason to keep it. I'm trying to look at the camera, see if there is any value in having it. To be honest, I couldn't figure out the best. If I kept it, where would I keep it in this position? Then it'd be too low. If I put it here, just look confusing. It doesn't need it. So ultimately it doesn't need it, so we'll remove it and try and create an interesting gin with that. Might make it short because it is very ordinary here. There's no real interest at all in this section. It's only really in this section that's any interest, but you're gonna have to have a long piece and then just some interest at the end. Not usually the best gins. You wanted, if all this was up here, it would be much more interesting. So it might just be a short one, but yeah, I just want to show you the tree how it is at this point in time. It's actually come up really nice. Lots of wire, of course. And now you can see this branch here. It just sits there, and where am I going to put it really? Couldn't really. I mean, it ruined also the silhouette of the tree. I don't think it needs it. So convinced myself it's got to go, which is very hard for me to do because I don't like to remove branches. But ultimately, this will be a better tree without it. So off it comes, and I'll remove this part. So then I'll see how much I want to gin off it. So I don't know if there's much impact at all to the silhouette of the tree. This part is when you look into the tree, I was trying to hide this bit. I think I've done it a little bit. I just didn't like the way it came down so much, but I think it's come up, I think I've been able to hide it well. But anyway, I'll gin that up and I'll show you the final product. Alright everyone, so that's pretty much it. You can barely see the gin. It's a very short one that I've created, but you can barely see it. The tree's looking really nice. I like the look of it now, much better than before. Things are in place. All those bends and twists were really actually useful in the branches. I was able to play on those bends and twists and position branches and reposition branches where they can go. So the technique I really used here was I pretty much wired everything. Started off with the main branches, put them in position. And then all the other branches, I found a spot for them. Like I bent them around to find a spot for them. An example was, there's this quite, let me try and go this way. There's a really interesting branch here, this branch here. It's got 1, 2, 3, almost 4 sub-branches that may go from here all the way around to right at the back here. So it's a good 180 degrees of the tree, probably a bit more, maybe 200 degrees of the tree is just this one branch. Now there's a branch that comes into the front, branch that comes into the side, and then I was able to maneuver this branch all the way to sit at the back. So what happens is now you can see this branch here at the back giving me depth so that I could eliminate that other branch that was out here. So that's the kind of stuff I was doing, trying to find spots for all the branches and not wanting to cut many off. Really come up really good. I'm really happy with it. So really that's the main thing here with the branching, finding places for all the branches without having to cut too many off. I think I cut 2, that big one, and there was another really fat one in there with very minimal foliage, so I took that one off as well. But other than that, it's just wiring, lots of wire, and you have a nice, almost completed tree. Almost complete, never say completed, but a nicely restyled black pine. So that's 3 black pines done for the customer. Now if you're in Melbourne and you're interested in this kind of work, just email me at bonsaiworks@gmail.com and I'm happy to have a chat with you. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video of these pines. I'm going to start repotting now soon. It's that time of year, so got to get into my repotting, so off I go. But anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time.